Guys, it is 4:13. It is March 24th. I hope everyone's feeling okay. Decent action today. A lot of things to do. Hopefully, I helped keep everybody safe and a little head of the curve. So anyway, take a look at disclosure. Let's get to it. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Welcome to today's what's today? Today's recap and look ahead. So anyway, I came in this morning. I had some longs on. I actually put some stuff on pre-market that you guys got to see on the alpha team and whatnot. Managed a few positions and stayed with a few positions, and it wound up being a great day. It wasn't like a rock star day. It wasn't like I was cajones to the wall long coming in today, but I had a few things that made sense, and then I had a few things that I thought I could still buy and have room. That's all you could do when you come into a big gap up. Or, if you came in short, the indices or sectors, you really didn't have, or stocks, you didn't have that much leeway to cover and save yourself some money. So if you look here at the chart of the SPYs, what do we know now? Well, first of all, this reclaimed these areas, so you couldn't be that bearish going into this week. You just couldn't be. Anyway, I had some puts on. My options account, actually, which I'll get into, I broke even, lost a little, but because I had good positions on, with the hedge, I lost on my hedges, but I had enough of the good positions to make money, but it also would have been nice to be in some of those indices versus puts. It is what it is. So this was your reversal day into a gap up, and now you have 570, 20, took back the 21 day here, back above the 200 day there on the EMA. Some people are like, well, Red Dog, what about the SMA? I don't have the SMA up. It's too much stuff. And then I was talked about this area, 580 to the 50-day moving down, which is closer to 583 to 585. So in my head, I said to myself, we were just talking about this in the alpha team, Red Dog, do not sell any premium or look to get short or buy puts until we get maybe to 580, 585, and the faster it happens, the more compelling it is. So then I found myself at the highs of the day, leaving for lunch. I'm like, let me sell some calls. Which I did, which is a good hedge during lunch. But I'm like, you know what? We just took back the 200 day. We closed above it. We closed kind of above the 21 day. Trump had a chance to talk tariffs, and he didn't really talk so crazy. Why am I going to be caught in some premium? This is like one reverse. This is kind of like this was the reversal. This really is only like a day one. It's like a day two. It's a big day 1.5, 2. So why am I going to start fading here where it does feel like the path of least resistance and the pain trade would probably be more into here, and that would be a much harder spot to get through, so it's a little safer. 576 is still a void to 580, 585, so that's why I don't have it on. But anyway, someone's like, Red Dog, could you kind of compare this and look at the August move, which I got really hurt on? I'm like, you want to bring that back up and talk about my dead squirrel? No, I'm kidding. Anyway, you remember we were out of the way during this down move, and I actually was like, near the highs of my year, if you remember. And then I remember playing this move up pretty well. We did it pretty well. We had nothing on. If anything, I think I had some puts I covered. This day got everyone really bearish. Okay, everyone said, oh, that's it. That was a crappy bounce. Red Dog reversal sell, which is right here. And I remember, I think I was out of a lot of stuff too. And then this day was the day to get long. And then into this day, I'm like, we could probably sell. I think this was what? This was the low here was 537. I said into like the 540s. This was 540. Look, remember 542, 542, 541, 544. I'm like, we could sell the 540 to 5. I'm like, there's no friggin' way we're getting through here. None whatsoever. So I think we were playing this to, this got back long, traded around it, got it maybe a little less. And then I think right into this day, I'm like, I think I shorted on this day because I thought that was in. I'm like, I could sell the 540s, the 542s. And then I added all the way up here. I added up here, and then it was like a CPI or PPI. And then this day, I lost well over 6 figures short the SPYs because I had like too many SPY calls on. I was trying to dig my way out, and I wound up hurting myself. And then I remember getting out of the way here, and I was like, all right, that's cool. We came up back to the old highs, which nobody said we were going to get back to the old highs after that move lower. Look how fast I was. And then we looked really good here, and then that happened. So by this time, I think I was down more than I've been down in a long time. And then we had the reversal on September 11th, got long again, and then worked my way out of it and finished the year well, and we got a paycheck for that quarter. But anyway, so if you look here, This area, like this was one area actually. If you look here, this was what? This was 530. I think I started shorting around 537, thinking I could short the 540s and the 542s, and there's no way it goes through. And I held it for this through that. So, just obviously patterns don't repeat themselves, and I'm trying to show some big areas. This is just, this isn't a compelling short. It's just not. Anyway, this would be a pretty damn big zone to get through that sellers should be able to reject, and that would be a better spot in my opinion. Yeah, so that's all we're going to do for now. We're talking about that. The Qs had a nice day. Hold on, let's go back to the spies for a second. I want to save that chart. If they want to keep this intact, they don't break 572. They shouldn't have 570. They shouldn't even get down there. You can take this out of the way now, just because. What was this low here? This low is 575.35. So there is a point of reference right there. Actually, we went through that, did we? This was what? This was 575.35, and this high here was 575.15. Okay. KBH down big. Home builders, no one's buying. I have friends that are real estate agents that said nobody's doing anything. Everyone's just sitting. Nobody's giving up their 2.5 to 3 1/8 30-year mortgage or 15-year mortgage to buy something that, will go up twice the amount and give up their their savings, whatever. Anyway, so that's that. Let's go to Qs. Qs, this is now your point of reference. This is now your gap. There's a gap here. Is it going to hold it? Is it going to, keep some momentum? 484.40. That's now your new point of reference. Went as high as what? 491.51. Where have you been all day, Chillo? You said you had internet problems? Or did you have short problems? Or were you just chilling? Anyway. So that's what the Qs look like. What did the IWM do? IWM, you can go like this now. IWM got above this high area, so kind of healthy for itself. Hasn't done that in a while. You now have a gap here also. This has a void too now. This low is what, 206 cents. So I don't see any real compelling reason, unless you're uber bearish and you have an uber opinion. I don't see any really reason, what I say, to like be shorting this area. It's one thing to take off a little longs and not having as much overnight, but to just short this spot is just, it's not really compelling, in my opinion. All right, so now that's IWM. XBI, I feel like I got bailed out. I bought options. I guess I was good that I went out far enough. So I did trim some because I thought it would be a 0, and looks a little bit better. Looks like this can get to the 50-day. Got through the 888 area, whatever the hell that is, or try to. First real 2-day move in a while. Maybe gets to here a little bit more. And then go to the stocks. Tesla was my biggest position coming in. Nice trade. What now? Looks like it's going to head to here. 293. That's the 200-day EMA. 290, 293 was this low here. 297. So this would be the zone. There's still room here. I wouldn't be shorting this. Like some people are like, I'm going to short Tesla. I'm like, first of all, I still think it's kind of has room to be a long, let alone a short. I'm still long some. Nice move. That was your buy area. This is why we still love Tesla here and there, because you still get these 2-day moves that could really make you a lot of money if you catch it. You know, there's a chance that this gets up to here in time, maybe the 320. I'm just saying there's still room here. If you open down, it should be buyable. If it opens up, you should be trimming it. So if you look here, you know, there are some things I came in long and some things I put on. So you'll see if I came in long, it says overnight. So Tesla, I came in long overnight. Where is that? It didn't say overnight. I guess it says my first thing was a buy. What didn't I touch? I touched it all. Palantir. Oh, it doesn't say what overnight. If you traded it. So let's see if anything different. So ASTS was a new trade. So Amazon was also. Oh, it just says when I bought it. Doesn't show off what I had overnight. ASTS was really good. Yeah, I had a bunch of them, and I added today. I was definitely cautious coming in. I didn't come in with my guns blazing. I was lucky not to be caught short. These friggin' guys that I've been kind of help coach a little bit on the side that are from these major funds, they were sold that we were going to retest the lows this week, and they were sold that we would open down 40, 50 handles, and they shorted the entire bounce on Friday. Thank goodness. You know, I saw that, you know, I was able to see Tesla and I traded along, and I just didn't even short the SPYs or the Qs. That would have really pissed the hell out of me. Instead, I just lost money buying puts. So I learned a little bit. But anyway, I did have T1, and then I bought Palantir on the close, which helped. So Dash I also bought on the close, which helped. So yeah, I turned a day where I didn't have much conviction coming into a really good day. So what else you want to beat me up about, Alan? Didn't you say the video was going to 101 or something like that? Kidding. Did go to 114, 115. So we all have opinions, and they're only opinions. That's all they're worth until the market confirms them. But so this is what I have. I don't have any fades right now, and I'm not going to try and make money both ways. You know, for now, I'm trying to stay with this a little bit more. What's your opinion on each? I think they're, you know, if you trade them, God bless. I know a lot of guys that make a lot of money in these things. You know, if you time it perfectly, there's a lot of juice there. I wouldn't stay in them long term because there's like a decay, and if you don't get the trade you're looking for, you know, it decays over time. But you know, you can. I don't need to. I have more buying power than I could use. So I don't need to be playing like the TSL or the MSTU. I could just trade the real stocks. Not say the real stocks, but the ones that have bigger ranges. You know, but this, yeah, they're cool. You definitely need to be right. And because with time, you know, there's decay. But anyway, so that's what I have. ASTS was really good. ASTS I didn't have coming in, and I bought it pre-market up 60 cents. I saw a bunch of pieces of news out on it over the weekend, and really, I don't know, I just kind of had my little cents go up. But anyway, so that's Tesla. Tesla I think has room to here, so I'm still long it. I did buy Amazon pre-market below 300, thinking we can get to this spot. It got to this spot. I do think there's a chance it gets to this spot, so I'm going to try and buy dips with Amazon. I'm going to try and stay with it. Those guys were buying the 205 calls today for like $1.50, saying, hey, for $1.50, if it works its way back to the moving averages this week, you know, it's a pretty low, you know, low budget way to do it. You know, then you could even sell on an up open, maybe the 210s, and do a call spread. You could cap the 210. I don't think it's going much higher than that. So a clear just descending channel. So this was a good trade. This wasn't something I was happy that I went with early and stayed with it. Meta actually was better. Meta had a quick move and then came back and then actually let you buy it and then closed okay versus what happened here. Sometimes they do that day to scare the lights out of you. So now what? All right, I went to the first resistance spot, which I said was 621. I went to 622.50. So now you measure higher. So higher is 635-ish, which is right there. This low is what? 612.50 now. So now every one of these names that didn't have a nice big gap, kind of like a pro earnings gap, a market gap, to say, hey, If they want this to start a new trend, they got to hold it and go. If it fills it, it's over. All right. eToro. You know, Microsoft was one of the worst ones, so it gave you a way out of it if you got caught short. Still has some, so I still wouldn't just short this thing. It's got room up to here. Apple, to me, looked a little bit better. Just because of me and Apple, I bought a little bit of options, and I bought it on the dip. I think it can get to here. I don't think it gets all the way up to here, but I think, if they want the market to go towards 580 if they want, then that's probably a spot where it works towards. That was a new option play today. Hold on a second. What was my other best? Palantir was my best overnight. I think one of you guys actually pointed it to me when I was a little negged out on Friday. Like, take some Palantir. It's above the 821 day. I was like, okay. I did it, and nice move. Still has a big void. It's above everything. So this was hit. This was hit. Now, there's a gap to fill up to 100. So this low is what? 92.28. My friend Louis, I told you, one of the best in the business, said to me on Friday, he goes, Palantir looks best. And I said, you know what? It's above the 821 day. You're right. Why am I not taking it home long? So I took it home long. So chances are I could see this area tomorrow. You would think. 97.39. You guys know Lou Forte. Been doing this actually longer than I have. See, this is what I wrote this morning. Yeah. APP has some room to maybe this gap area. I'll tell you, Dash was awesome. Look at that. Dash is a focus. We've been buying dips for the past few weeks. Some along versus 185. Never got to 185. You could have still bought it. Others want to add the close above 195. Well, it closed above 195. Did you buy the dip or add at 195? Two good ways to play it. I'm still there. I bought the dip. It was one of my better trades today. Oklo. Dash looks great. Can I buy more Dash? What's the SPYs doing after hours? 10. What's NVIDIA doing? Yeah. I'll buy a tiny bit more. Anyway, that was Dash. So we talked about ASTS. Has this whole void here for once. It took back all the moving averages. This Powell was not great, but it's fine. Still in this range. It's not a momentum trade. It's a concept play by one of my sales traders who said that in the next 2 quarters it could be back in the 20s. So to get to 20, it's got to get above 1066 or 1140, which it's not above. Some guys are talking about BABA. It held around. I bought some options. I didn't trade it. I just don't, I don't know if everyone's like, if the U.S. names go up, the Chinese names got to go down. I don't fully believe that, but I just didn't want to be enamored with it, which I wasn't. What did Baidu do? I don't know. I didn't even look at it once. Yeah, a little bit better. Closed okay. Maybe it fills this gap. Like I said before, IBIT was great. Nice move. I had options on. I sold a little bit today, twice. I think it's a power play too, which is good. We bought it. Yeah, I trimmed twice. Which one? Eddie? You know what I think of when I hear the Eddie from Eddie Murphy when he did I think Raw, or was it Eddie? You ate all the toys, Eddie. Oh yeah. Oh. Oh. Right? You ever see Eddie Murphy Raw? You ever watch Eddie Murphy Delirious? Oh my God, what you were allowed to say back in the day, he can't say any of that stuff anymore. Or Dice Clay, holy cow. Hickory dickory. It's like, really? You can't. That was all publicly accepted, not too long ago, or actually kind of long ago. I'm old. What's this now? This low is. Yeah, Richard Pryor, oh my God. The things he used to say. The funniest thing is the only one that was really wholesome was guess who? America's Dad, who drugged women and is in jail, right? Eddie Murphy was dirty, but he's still out there, and he just told it like it is. So it's like the sheep in wolf's clothes, the wolf in sheep's clothing. Eddie Murphy. I mean, like Cosby was like America's Dad on the Cosby Show. You know, Dad is great. Gave us the chocolate cake. Like doing jokes about kids and stuff, and then meanwhile he's slipping things in girls' drinks and in jail. Don't judge a book by its cover, my dogs. Crazy, right? Yeah. I love it. Eddie Murphy. He had a good heart, though. He even a lot of his movies when he played Axel Foley, Beverly Hills Cop, even when he did Boomerang when he was the player. Remember that movie? That was a good movie. But anyway, Cosby. I think he's either dead or he's in jail somewhere. Anyway, that's IBIT. Mister, what a move. Messed that up. I was buying options last week. I should have went out 1 week. So dumb. Next spot's like 344. Took this out pretty fast. Wow. Broke the downtrend. Had to play with it a little bit. Why wasn't I along this? I should have been more bullish on Friday. I apologize. 336. Did have options though in IBIT, so that helped. That's what muted my SPY puts. Yeah. Oh, really? That was probably when all the liberals were in charge. Sorry, didn't say it. They let every criminal out of jail. That's when the police were bad. Police are bad. It hurts putting handcuffs on a criminal. You shouldn't be putting handcuffs on a criminal that just robbed a store or killed somebody. The handcuffs are mean. I'm sorry. Oh God. Until you need a cop in the middle of the night when someone's breaking into your own house. Anywho, can we talk levels of what, Jay? What do you want to talk? I'll talk one level. It is a crazy world, right? SPX, we could do that for you. You don't like a little personality in the recap? I won't do any personality. I'll just give you all the levels. All the levels, my doggies. No babbling. Red dogs shouldn't be babbling anyway. Nobody wants to hear me babble. It's just about the money. Where could I do the levels? Here they are. It's a pretty big spot. It's 58.30. This 58.30 to 58.50. That's a really big spot. Besides this little it already kind of hit this micro level where you had this point of reference right here. It's already kind of touched through it. What did I say this morning? Where is it? Oh, it's not here. It said 58 to 58.30. This is 58.29. This is 58.50. So really that spot, that's why I'm saying like 581, 585. You stressed today? I'm sorry. Yeah, a lot of people are stressed. Yeah, whenever you get a day like today, everyone's trying to count how much money they should have made. So maybe next time, write down what you did wrong. Some people actually went out short and down a lot of money today. I'm rolling it up. Wishing and praying for tariff news. 5718. I used to hate when I went out short and I'd have to like hoping for bad news. I just wasn't, just made my skin crawl. I'm not saying any of you guys are doing it. I'm just saying in general. It's just doesn't make me feel good. 5775. Hey, look at that. My entire Blood in the Street account is green. You know, this was the first buy, if you remember, on this day. And then I bought more on this day. So remember, we went up my average. Would I sell some if we had a strong close into there? Probably not. If I had, you know, half on, I would take a quarter off. You know, if I could carve out 4 or 5% off the lows. But to carve off 2%, you know, it's not worth my wife having to sit on hold and yell at me. Right? Well, I am with Red Dog Mindset. I am doing an 8-week course with this guy. His name is Evan Marks from M1. He's like a psychoanalytic performance coach, and I've been talking to him a little bit, and he tries to dig a little bit on me. So maybe one day I'll dig into why I don't like to be short or wish for bad news, or you know, I do short things at times, but it's just like, you know, I just don't feel comfortable doing that, or I don't know. Maybe one day, Dana. Yeah, that's true. It's just a trade, right? Everything's just a trade in life. I know. I like to say it. I'm a decent short. I pick and choose my spots very carefully. I think Mister is probably a little bit better than Netflix. Actually, how did Netflix close? I think they're both all right. You know, Netflix went, you know, they pulled in but went higher, and I think both of them look good. You know, they're both in the game for a little bit of follow through. They both come a long way, so you know, you have to really have maybe a third or something on. It's been trending higher. This looks pretty good, and so does Mister. Mister looks pretty good too. They just both have had big moves, but are still trending. I just would. It's not the spot to be all in or initiate. I wouldn't initiate a long in Mister into the close or initiate a long in Netflix into the close. But if you've been managing it from last week and using a tier system, I would be small. The same way I'm small with Tesla. What I said, I think Tesla could be higher tomorrow, but if someone was a long Tesla and said, hey, I want to buy Tesla on the close, it'd be like, well, all right, good luck. How about GME? Wow. Had a pretty big move off the lows. Earnings are coming out soon. It's had a, you know, I don't, there's some room here. You know, now that the sentiment's a little bit better, if they talk about how they spend money on Bitcoin and this and that. Nice 2-day move. If you took it home, this was, you know, pretty strong on Friday. But it's already had a little bit of a move. It has some more room if it wants it. When's earnings? March 25th. Ooh, tomorrow. Good luck. I did have options on, and I just didn't play it right. Sometimes, you know, I play things wrong too. Red Dog plays some things wrong. I am human. I am human. Looks alright though. Hood. Sure, it had a nice move. Yep. This is some room here too if it wants it. Took back the moving averages fast. Remember, I bought this too early too. Remember, we were buying like the 38s or 42s. Red Dog is wasted talent sometimes. I should have a psychoanalyst hang out with me about that. How I like to hit singles and doubles. No home runs for me. I don't want to go to St. Bart's for vacation. I'm real good with just going to Turks and Caicos. Okay. I don't want a huge yacht. I just want to do the individual, you know, sailing. It's good for the body. News came out tonight on, oh yeah, Tesla's still pushing. That's good. Kind of pushing. Yeah. Have you ever been there? My friends were just in St. Bart's for a 50th. They said it was insane. My other friend was part of the. My other friend was part of that, hedge fund group that I helped coach. He was there at the same time. Looked fun. It's all right. I'm just going to go to Pittsburgh in a week and a half from now and watch Chase play AU basketball against a bunch of teams from around the country and sit in a sweaty gym. Sweaty gym with Chase, St. Bart's with a bunch of people. No, I'll go to the sweaty gym. Watch my boy play. And then when he gets his NBA deal, we'll both go to St. Bart's and get the yacht. And I'll take all you with me. No, I'm kidding. Oh, goodness. Listen, we all have to have gratitude. I do just fine. I have a beautiful house. I have enough cars. I spent $3,200 on a golden doodle. I'm not in bad shape. If I could spend $3,200 on a golden doodle, that's making me happy. His name is Phoenix. His ankle's good. He had his first real practice on Sunday. I drove carpool. See how efficient I am? I drove carpool on Sunday, 45 minutes away, dropped the kids off at 10 to 9. I wazed. There was a Lifetime. I went to Lifetime, and I schmoozed my way in for a free pass, and I worked out for an hour and a half while he was there, did my gym workout, and then I came, watched the last 20 minutes, came back, and we had a big-time lunch together. It's not a bad Sunday. Anyway, this hood looks good. Come back up. Right? Got to be efficient with your time. Some people I went to the diner and I had, I had an omelet and hash browns, and then I went to Dunkin' Donuts. I'm like, all right, you went to Dunkin' Donuts and I went to the diner. I went to Lifetime and used an hour and a half to my benefit. It does go fast, doesn't it? His school team's over. He played on Milburn and he had a really good season, and now he's playing U16 for New Jersey Beast. The season just started. He has practices on Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sundays, and the first tournament is April 5th, which I won't be here for, but then the next one's in Pittsburgh, which I will. But anyway, he's got a kid that's almost 7 foot, a 6'8", and a 6'7", so he's got 3 bigs for the first time, so he's excited. I did. Moss Creek. If you ever want a great dog, Moss Creek makes great dogs. It's in Florida. I flew to Florida to get him. Phoenix. You should see Phoenix. Phoenix already knows the whistle. I could be anywhere, and I do my whistle, and boom. I always say, if you get a dog, every time you give it a treat or feed it or do anything positive in the first 4 to 6 weeks of his existence, make a whistle and have the whole family do it. Then all of a sudden it turns into the family whistle. And then a great trained dog is a great trained dog. And Phoenix has just turned from November 23rd, her birthday or month coordination day was Sunday. Selling Tesla up here. Maybe I should sell some Tesla up here. I just bought some on the close. Where do we buy some? Did we buy some at like 76? Good job, Shady. All right, my dogs. I have to be actually back here. I have a webinar tonight or just an informational meeting. So I got to jump. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you soon. Hopefully you had a good day. And if you didn't have a good day, we'll see if we could string some days together this week and make it a really good week. Make the right decisions in the right time. That's our job. Later, guys.